Welcome to Money School. Check it out. Everyone talks about all the millionaires, how they make their money in real estate. There are actually 7 major benefits to investing in real estate, and today I'm going to help you understand what they are.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Why invest in real estate? Man, there's not just one reason, there's not 3 reasons, there's actually 7 reasons, 7 major benefits. And you hear the statistic, right? 90% of all millionaires made their millions in the game of real estate. And it wasn't because they were making money one way, they were making money many ways. In fact, real estate has something to offer that most investments on the planet just can't. Now, today it is a little bit literally like going back to school, money school.
If one of y'all says some silly ass name, this whole class is gonna feel my wrath.
Because these are the lessons that financially you should have learned in junior high, high school, and guess what? If you weren't taught them, I'm gonna teach them to you today. So by the way, make sure that you're a subscriber because these videos are designed to make you a multimillionaire. Check this quote out from Lewis. The best investment on earth is earth. Like Mark Twain says, they ain't making more of it. And that enacts a principle called scarcity. You see, right now we have a problem with the dollar bill. When the government needs more money, do you know what they do? They just print more of it. And what it does is it creates inflation, which basically means that the value of the dollar goes down with time. But you see with real estate, because they're not making more of it, that means that it becomes only more scarce with time as more and more people buy it. And that drives the value higher and higher and higher, which means at the end of the day that first and foremost, real estate is a really good store of value. If you buy it and just wait with a little bit of time, it will go up. Can't say the same for the dollar.
We got a dollar, we got a dollar, we got a dollar, hey, 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 hey.
So let's dive in on these 7 major benefits. And let's start with number 1. It's called appreciation. And I don't mean like, oh, you're so kind, I appreciate you so much. It's more like, wow, you go up in value. You appreciate, check it out. Owning a rapidly growing tangible asset known as real estate goes up in value. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that you were to buy a $200,000 home, and let's say that it was appreciating at 5% a year. That's equivalent to $10,000 a year. $200,000 at 5% is 10 grand. And that growth continues year over year over year. So if you own this house, by the way, for 5 years, do the math. $10,000 of appreciation this year, $10,000 the next year, $10,000 the next year, $10,000 the next year, $10,000 the year after 5 years, that's $50,000. And that's not even taking compound growth into effect because technically the number's even bigger. And if it's true that you can make $50,000 just by owning a house for 5 years, then what would happen if you had 20 homes? 50,000 times 20 homes, that's actually $1 million. And that was one of the original reasons why in 4.5 years, I bought 20 properties. Why? Because that made me instant millionaire. The second thing that you need to know about real estate is that if you're buying houses that you're not going to live in, you're probably going to have someone else live there, which means they need to pay some rent. And that rent should be higher than your mortgage or the costs of the property every single month. And what that does is it leads to something called cash flow or a positive cash flow. It's building a powerful residual income. When I bought my very first house, something really cool happened. I rented out the basement and the rent from the basement alone covered the entire mortgage. So my wife and I lived in the upstairs for free. But you see, a year later when we used some of the equity in that house to buy a second home, we just decided, hey, we're not going to live there. Let's just rent that out. And when we did, the rent was $600 more a month than the mortgage, which meant that we had a $600 a month positive cash flow. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that you were to buy a home and rent it out for $1,500 a month. And let's just say that all of your expenses on that home, including the mortgage, came to $1,100 a month in this example. That means that you would be generating $400 a month of positive cash flow because remember, you're collecting $1,500 a month of rent, but you're only paying out $1,100. Who gets that extra $400 a month? You do. And that's kind of cool because now you have an asset that is appreciating, it's going up in value, but at the same time every month, it's paying you. You know, most things that you invest in life, you've just got to buy them if you want to get in. If you wanted to buy $10,000 worth of stock, you'd have to pay $10,000. Real estate, however, gives you a third benefit. It's called leverage control. It means that you can come up with some of the money and the bank will actually put up the rest of the money. I mean, think about it. Most people don't just buy homes cash. That's a lot of money. The banks will chip in most of the money. What this means is that the more leverage you use, the higher the ROI that you're getting on the bank's money that they're lending you. Here's an example. Let's again say that you bought a $200,000 home, and let's also say that it required a 20% down payment. Now, 20% on $200,000, that's 40 grand. Most people don't have 40 grand just lying around. Maybe you've saved it up in a 401k, maybe in an IRA. Maybe your own home that you live in has appreciated and gone up in value, and the bank's willing to lend you some of that money. Maybe you inherited money, or you know what, maybe you're a thrifty saver. Either way, when you buy properties you're not gonna live in, you can't get away with the typical 3, 4, or 5% down payment. It's 20%. So that $40,000 has to come out of your pocket. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. But wait, this is a $200,000 home. Who's coming up with the other $160,000? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Here's the rest of the money. This is what you're putting up, and that's the 40 grand. This is the $60,000, $160,000 that the bank is putting up. And check out this cool part. If the home were to increase 10% in value and goes from $200,000 to $220,000, that $20,000 increase came from the $40,000 investment, not the $160,000. In other words, I put up 40, and if the home just goes up 10%, I've already made half my money back. How did I do it? It's not magic, it's leverage. As cool as all that is, there are still more benefits why people love investing in real estate. And here's benefit number 4. It's tax benefits. Did you know that you get to write off and defer capital gains? Now, those are some big words if you're new to the game of real estate investing. So what am I really talking about here? Check out this example. Let's just say that you earn $5,000 in yearly cash flow, right? You've got it rented out at $400 a month. You add that up over 12 months. Let's just say that comes to $5,000. And that's on a $220,000 home. You get to write off that $220,000 over a 27.5-year period of time. And let me explain what that means. It's called depreciation. The government says, well, we know that the carpet's gonna go bad and the roof's gonna go bad and you're gonna have to replace, parts of the house over time. Let's just say for a moment that you have to replace everything over 27.5 years. And of course the government knows that that's not really quite true. They're creating a really cool benefit. Did you know that you can take the value of the home, divide it by that 27.5 years that the government IRS has decided, and in this situation, $220,000 divided by 27.5 years is $8,000. Basically, just because you own that investment property, the government says you get to write off an extra $8,000 every year for 27.5 years, and you think, wait, that $8,000 write-off, that's gonna cancel out the $5,000 of cash flow that came into my pocket, and there's $3,000 left over. What do I do with that? You write that off against your job income. Let's say you make $50,000 a year. You're gonna have to pay taxes. But if now it looks like you're making $3,000 less, $47,000, you're gonna pay less in taxes. So what just happened? Just by buying a property, in most situations with single family homes, all of your cash flow is gonna be tax-free. And then there's gonna be leftover money to help cancel out other income. When I was a brand new investor, it meant that for the first 7 years as an investor, I didn't have to pay any taxes because of all of the amazing write-offs and tax benefits that come with real estate. Yeah, but come on, Kris, let's be honest. The real estate market can be turbulent, right? It can go up and then it can go down. And sure, when everything's going up, everyone's happy. But Krohn, what happens when real estate goes down? Then you're gonna get spanked and it's gonna wipe out all of those benefits. Oh, that could be true unless you pick a real estate strategy that is market resilient. In other words, when the market goes up, you make money, but when the market goes down, you can also be protected. It's called a hedge. Let me explain it. It allows you to earn high ROIs across all market conditions, meaning if the market goes up or down, you still get to win. Here's an example. During a recession, the most expensive homes lose a significant amount of their value, as much as 50%. Like a couple of houses ago that I lived in, I had this $2 million house, and when '08 hit, it was now $1 million house, right? Fortunately, that was a home that I was living in and enjoying for me and my family. It wasn't an investment property. On the other hand, homes below the median lose notably less, maybe as little, for example, as 9%. This demonstrates why properties at or below the median value allow for the most remarkable market resilience. Let me give you an example. I already told you that in a really bad recession, a $2 million home can become a $1 million home. But you see, a $500,000 home might become a $300,000 home. But a $300,000 home might become a $220,000 home. A $220,000 home, one of my sweet spots, sure, it might go down to $200,000. In other words, it's lost very, very little value. And guess what I'm gonna do in a recession? I'm just gonna rent it out. I'm gonna keep making cash flow. I'm gonna cash in on tax benefits. And I just need to wait a couple of years and then boom, I'm back on top. That's protection that is important to me. You know, the sixth benefit is the whole reason why I was able to be a full-time student once upon a time. I could also have a full-time job and I could still do my real estate on the side. Benefit number 6, this is a passive investment. And passive means exactly what it implies. It's not a part-time job. It's not an active job if you can do it the right way. This is all about reclaiming your time because guess what? You're probably not watching this video because you really want to own real estate. You want the benefits of real estate so that you can go on and live your ideal life. Let me give you an example of passive investment in action. Real estate investment companies exist to make real estate investing passive and turnkey. They help you acquire 5 properties, for example, earning double-digit ROI by taking care of the acquisition and purchase, the rehab, property management, and finally the exit. Did you know that I have a company with 200 experts that does just that? Every day in one of the top markets in America, I buy one of the juiciest deals that is earning me a really high ROI. And I built a team to do it for me because even I wanted it to be passive for me, but now I have friends all over social media land that get in contact with me and say, hey, Kris, can I also leverage your team so that I can be entirely passive? And the answer is yes. Yes! The 7th benefit, I think, brings it all together. It's called combined interest. Look at all the different ways that we've talked about making money. And what happens when you take all of these real estate benefits and bring them together? You basically make financial freedom a very real reality. There's a reason why I started investing at 22, and by the time I was 26, 4.5 years later, I was entirely financially free. Check it out. Every year that you collect cash flow, your property appreciates, your renters are paying down the mortgage, and all of this combines to form an impressive ROI that outpaces traditional investments if you do it the right way. And for just a moment, I want you to think about that. You're now making money on your investment. Your 401k doesn't pay you, your IRA doesn't pay you, the stock market doesn't pay you, but your real estate does. Then on top of it, you've got the tax breaks, which means no matter how much money you're making, you're now giving less to the government. Then all of your assets are going up in value. They're growing. And then you have some tenant that's living in it, getting value from your house and location that is actually paying off the house for you. You add all that up, and the goal is to be at a minimum 25% annual ROI. If you are, that 25% annual ROI over 20 years will outpace the stock market 27-1. And what does that mean? Most people in their 60s have $200,000 to their name for retirement. But in real estate, it's now $4.3 million. And that doesn't make you like crazy rich, but certainly rich enough that you can have a really nice retirement. And this short little video today is literally just a tiny snippet from my brand new book, Have It All. And if you click the link below, I've got a limited number of copies. I'm giving them all away for free. Cover the shipping and handling, and the book is yours. Real estate in this book is just one way of making money, but this is the roadmap to becoming a self-made millionaire in 5 years or less. I'm gonna teach you not just real estate, but 4 other investments that every person should do if they really value being financially free. Hey, thank you for watching today's video. I hope it created value for you and really helps kind of spark why real estate is such a smart investment. By the way, I will tell you that there are 5 really not smart investments. In fact, 5 all-time worst things that people do with their money, and they do it every single day. And if you want to know what the 5 worst things are, watch this video and let me break it down for you. Kris Krohn here, and today I'm going to teach you the 7 fundamentals for why real estate makes you all the big bucks.
Yes, it does. Sounded very intentional. I just know better. That looks good to me.